Ah, so, in the 106th verse of the Ajnana Khandana, chapter 7 of Amrutanubhav, जो निमाली ही नींद देखे तो सर्वज्ञ ये वडे काय चुके परिदृश्याची ये न टेके सोयरीक जो. How can the omniscient self, who is the witness of even deep sleep, not see this world of plurality? But essentially, the self is neither the seer nor the seen. This is the second statement. The first statement is that the one who is present even in the deep sleep, the one who is the knower of deep sleep, because after waking up we say we had a good sleep. So he is the seer, he is the one who's speaking, bypassing the waker when that statement is made. How can that Atman or that reality not know the ignorance also? It is Sarvajna, it is all knowing. It cannot be only knowing the waking or the dream and not know the deep sleep. All knowing means everything that is possible it knows. And the pure consciousness which is able to establish the non-existence and ignorance in deep sleep is Sarvajna, the one who is the illuminator, who is the knower of the deep sleep. And what is deep sleep? It's absence. What is deep sleep? It's ignorance. What is deep sleep? It's non-existence of all objectivity. So this conscious principle that I am is the illuminator not only of the waking, where there is full of objects, not only of the dream where there is all subtle objects, but also the absence. Now don't come to at a relative level, at our daily interaction level, we say there is deep sleep, there is absence. We have already seen that before. There is no material called absence. There is no thing called absence. Then what is there? There is only the truth. But if we have to say, if that because we go through these three states of experience, waking, dream and deep sleep, then if the Ishvara knows his potentiality, which expresses as manifest or unmanifest, we also know our potentiality. What is our potentiality? What is its expression? Waking and dream is the manifestation of that potentiality, and absorption or deep sleep is the unmanifestation of that potentiality, which is our mind. These three are taking place in the mind. Mind is the potentiality. In other words, if you want to go a bit deeper, mind is nothing but consciousness on which the potentiality of the waves to appear happens or does not happen. But when the waves do not happen, do we say there is nothing there? No, water is still there. So where is our attention? Is our attention on manifestation on waves? That we can understand because it has a form. But when the forms become unmanifest, then what is left? The water is still there. That is consciousness. So when the mind, which is nothing but consciousness, when it manifests as waking and dream, and when these waking and dream objectivity becomes unmanifest, he is still there. He has not become absent. The absence of the waves does not cover the ocean, does not cover the water, does it? Do we say water is not there because there are no waves? If you are saying no, if now you equate it to yourself, if there is presence of thought, the absence of thought, I am not there. How can that be possible? है ना बुद्धू? But this is the conclusion we come to. And then we imagine void and nothingness and emptiness and absence and create a drama where there is no drama. So just think a little bit through this, that when waves manifest, you see them. When the waves become unmanifest, then there is nothing called, we may say absence of waves, but we know there is only water, infinite waters. Similarly, in the mind, when the thoughts manifest, we see, okay, there is thoughts. When the thoughts become unmanifest, then there is only self, there is no empty mind. This can come only. So now when you are listening and there is gap between hearing the words, we are not entering into nothing, we are still present. So also in meditation, we must not go into nothingness. We should not go into absence. That absence or nothingness we are accessing, or it is becoming available, or it is taking the mind over, only because we have come to a conclusion that absence of thoughts is equal to nothingness. Vedanta, or here Amrutanubhav, which is the words of realization of Jnaneshwar Maharaj, he is saying, when the words conclude, you are. When the words were there also you were. But okay, you were hijacked by the words, by the objectivity. But when there is no objectivity, it is not that you have gone into the state of ignorance. It is not possible. This conclusion will only happen if you have a mindset that I think, therefore I am, and if I don't think, I am not. Then this conclusion comes that there is nothing. Spirituality is turning this all thing around, that I am, whether thinking is there or no thinking is there. I continue, I am the constant one, I am the eternal one. And now we are giving you the data also to think that way. That when the thoughts conclude, absence doesn't begin. You continue. मजेदार है सोचना ऐसे. But see, when we are on our own, we never think like that. When we get a text, suddenly some words, some thoughts here trigger. Now, you see, the contemplation. There is nothing surprising about knowing things that are present. What is present? The waking world is present, the deep sleep world, the dream world is present. Correct? We dream the dream also as a present only. Nobody dreams a dream as a dream. When you are going through the dream experience, it seems as if you are there, it is happening to you. Only after waking up you say it was a dream. So therefore this statement, there is nothing surprising about knowing things that are present. So present is waking, as well as when you are in the dream, you are dreaming, you are seeing the world as present only. What is subtler is knowing what is not. So that is okay. I can see the fan, I can see the laptop. In dream also I see the fan, I see the laptop, I see my friends. Then what is the refined intellect, or what is the refined or what is the conclusion of integrity or synchronization? To be able to see what is not. To be able to see. Now don't misconstrue the words that I am using. So when Swamiji is saying more finer is to see what is not, in other words, more finer is to see what is absence or what is ignorance. It is not that you are validating ignorance and absence. What is finer is to see that you are present in spite of absence. That is true seeing, because absence is not a thing. What is not a thing to be observed. So that Paramatman, who gives existence and authority to non-existence and the ignorance of deep sleep, can certainly illuminate the world of plurality, which is considered the effect of the cause. So in our scriptures it is told that the waking and dream, they are the effect of the deep sleep state. So from absence, the waking and deep sleep have come. We have given so much validity to waking and dream, but what is their cause? Absence. What is the rule? The cause alone appears as many effects, correct? So absence alone is appearing as many effects called waking and dream and the variety. So that means if you take this statement also, everything in this waking and dream is only absent. And we have taken it real and trying to survive in this waking. How stupid. If you have become convinced that cause alone expresses as effects, then if cause of waking and dream, where the variety presents itself, is the absence, is the deep sleep state, then the whole world, as we see it, know it, experience it, is not there. But what is present then? If we are able to see or come to this conclusion within ourselves, initially appreciation that absence is also, if we want to know, because abhi to all of us know that we take absence as an object. We are saying it is not an object. But even if you take it as an object, someone is knowing it. And who is that someone? Is it someone outside? No, it is me, the conscious principle. So if that me is able to illuminate the absence, why is it difficult to understand that same self is illuminating the waking and the dream also? Because we know that in the presence of the self, the three states are coming and going. When we take a chill pill and look at it, that we are the sakshi, we are the witnessing consciousness in whose presence the waking state, the dream state and the deep sleep state are coming and going. See? In fact, drashta drashya is not mithya and illusion, but both are the manifestations of the same Paramatma Tattva. So, if absence, what did we say before? Before I rebooted the camera, that when the waves are manifest on the ocean, it is we know the waves because they have a particular form. It's a manifest form which you are able to see. But when the waves become unmanifest, is unmanifestation an object for you to perceive, or water is the object for you to, water alone is available for you to perceive? So has the absence of waves become the cause for the manifestation of waves, or has the infinite waters themselves appeared as manifest waves? You're with me? Has absence become the cause of manifestation of waves, or the other option, the water itself has manifested as many waves? Which one is true? Absence. Water. So
many waves.
Good. So water alone has been manifested as waves. So when the waves die away or dissolve, there is nothing called absence left behind, isn't it? Only water, infinite waters is left behind. So when all objectivity, in other words, here in this example, is the objective waves. When all the objective waves dissolve, go back to their source or become unmanifest, there is nothing called absence left behind. There is only water left behind. So we can conclude water alone is manifesting as the many waves. Because there is no data there, absence has become many waves. Apply to yourself this example. That all the manyness of waves called thoughts, where are the thoughts available? Only in waking and dream, isn't it? So when these thoughts subside, become unmanifest, we say they have, for us, and it is true for us right now. What is that? When the thoughts subside, we go into deep sleep. If we can remain, do the sadhana, and become aware and pierce through the deep sleep and see there is nothing called deep sleep, there is nothing called absence of thoughts, there is nothing called absence of waking and dream. When the waking and dream become dissolved, I continue to be. So the Swamiji is telling here that self which continues to be, don't give credence to absence or deep sleep. You break through it and find out that you are there still. And if you are not able to do that, at least intellectually you come to know that when you wake up, I had a deep sleep. Who is saying that? It cannot be the waker or the dreamer. It has to be someone who was available in the deep sleep state. That fellow only is making this statement that, hey, I was in bliss, because that was not the nature of deep sleep. That bliss is the nature of the self. It is not the nature of ignorance or deep sleep. We have superimposed on it. So we can conclude that this self, which was present even during the during the absence of or unmanifestation of waking and dream, or when all the thoughts had subsided, the self continues to be. So the conclusion that the teacher is saying here is that self alone appears as subject and object dichotomy. So this subject and object and the instrument of knowledge, the triputi which goes into making a thought, that thought then correspondingly the world comes about. It's an expanse, or can't even say expanse, it's the manifestation of that self alone as the world. This idea that the world has come about because of the cause called deep sleep state, the cause called ignorance at the totality level, he is refuting here. बड़े मजेदार है ना. There is nothing like ignorance. Okay, one line before. In fact, drashta drashya is not mithya. Seer and seen is not mithya. See, what do we say? That everything is a phenomena. Whatever we see, hear, touch, feel, taste, think, ideate, imagine is a phenomena. Everything that which comes and goes is a phenomena. This is what we have been saying, and we use that very liberally, isn't it? Take the example of the waters or the ocean. What is coming and going? Waves are coming and going. All the waves are mithya. This is what we have been saying, that it's a phenomena. What is a wave? Which is appearing in its own absence. This is because we say that which appears but actually is not there is called mithya. In English, the word for mithya is phenomena. But is it phenomena? Or is it only water? Water alone is manifesting as all the waves. So where is the phenomena then? Without the wave is not possible. No, I'm going to remove ignorance, or once I come to know ignorance, then I'll come to know the wave. No, there's nothing called ignorance. There's nothing called absence, which we can call as a cause for the wave. Only water alone, water, the infinite self, the absolute, alone is expressing as, or manifesting as, or appearing as the variety of waves. So self alone is appearing as the variety of thoughts. For this you have to take one step, you have to understand this, that where there is subject and object duality, where it is taking place, we call it the mind, isn't it? What is that mind? What is that mind? Is it an object? Does it have any contours? Does it have a quality? Is there an object called mind apart from the thoughts? I'm asking.
It's the consciousness only.
Yes, the mind is nothing but consciousness. That consciousness with reference to thoughts is called as mind. Woman is woman only, but with reference to husband is called as wife. So that woman alone is appearing as the wife with reference. That can that wife express separately from you? Not possible. Can that thought appear separately from the consciousness? Not possible. Can that wave appear separately from the waters? Not possible. Here our vision is being brought to a point where we don't go into the void or the absence, but instead see that everything inside, outside, known, unknown, thought, no thought, is nothing but is only that one reality, that one infinite self that is your nature. It has never become, that self has never become less that self has never become more. For that this thought, we say Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. The self is ever full. If out of it the subject and object manifest, what is left behind is full, and what has come out is also complete. To whom is this understanding being given? The one who feels he is an individual, he is a seeker, he is a jiva, he has a mind and an intellect, and he feels that he is not realized yet, and therefore he needs to do some sadhana in order to realize, or change his thinking in order to realize. So we have seen so many different things, including Dakshinamurti Stotram. So scriptures give you different ways of looking at the same thing. Why different ways? Because world is continuously changing. The world is having n number of angles of approach. Today you may like chilies, tomorrow for whatever reason you will say, no, I don't like chilies. There's no reason. There is nothing like ignorance. Everything is reality, just as unmanifest electricity and manifest light, heat, sound, etc. are reality. Everything is reality. Manifest and unmanifest, both are. Can the potentiality exist separately from the one whose potentiality it is? Can the Shakti express independently of the Ishvara? Can the mind express independently of the self, the conscious principle? Can it? Mind is the potentiality, self is the source, the essence. And that mind, as we just saw, is nothing but the source, but the self. Self with thoughts is called mind. Mind without thoughts is called the self. And once you come to know that mind without thoughts is self, then what happens? Then whether the mind has thoughts or no thoughts, you are always the self. You don't have to empty the mind of thoughts in order to realize yourself. Initially, yes. And furthermore, the Atma Tattva is not dependent on the Drashta Drashya Bheda. The infinite waters are not dependent, are not influenced, are not enslaved by its own manifestations called the waves. Isn't it? Similarly, the self is not influenced, not enslaved, not entangled in its own manifestation called the subject and object. So the one who says, yes, I had waking dream and deep sleep yesterday. Yeah, I know, I was awake, I was dreaming, I was sleeping day before yesterday. This fellow is ever unentangled. It alone is appearing as the subject object called the waker and the waking world. It alone is appearing as the subject and object called dreamer and the dream world and the dream body, instruments and their absence. But that Sakshi, that the the self, it is ever untouched. Whether wakers come and go or dreamers come and go, it is not affected. It is not influenced. It is not swayed. It doesn't come under the influence of the waker and the dreamer. Because by nature it is eternal. How can it come under the influence of the waker? Then why are we feeling that we are not the self? Your fault. Don't think that way. You bring the right thoughts in your mind. That is what we are doing. This whole idea that I am a product of ignorance, that I am before I die I have to realize, otherwise I'll go into heaven or hell, and this and that, and I am ignorant, I think I need to know myself, and continuously looking for some experience to happen, is all keeping us in the loop of I don't want to use the word off. It's keeping us in the loop. Instead of thinking why I am in the loop, why am I not realizing, why, think how is this whole thing going on, this waker and the waking world, how is this a manifestation of the self? Contemplate in this manner, the story will be over. Our inquiry, our contemplation should be self-oriented. Our inquiry and contemplation should not be world or thought-oriented. This is one big mistake we do in our seeking. That we give importance to the thoughts. We are not giving importance and attention to the self, which is the constant one. We want to understand. But self is not a subject of understanding. And when we are addicted to thinking and contemplating and through words without being the subject matter, then some words, after some time, some doubt will come, that is also words. Then again understanding will come, that is also words. And we just keep going like a roller coaster. Words, no words, words, no words, words, no words. That satsang was fantastic. Oh, that retreat was good. Oh, today's class was just what I needed to hear. And tomorrow, back to the same thing. Waiting for the next word to come and ignite you. Because we have not accepted. We have not accepted that we are the infinite one. Then with that comes the responsibility. All the wars are happening. I am alone manifesting as all the wars. I am alone manifesting as all the deaths. I am alone manifesting as all the births. I alone am manifesting as all the successes and failures. उस टाइप का डिस्पोजिशन भी चाहिए फिर. Then we need to have the magnanimity to accept. I'm using these words, magnanimity, to accept, because I'm speaking to someone. From self point of view, there is no it is magnanimous by nature. It's all inclusive because it alone is. The Atma Tattva is not dependent on the Drashta Drashya Bhed, the seer and seen duality, differences, the duality of subject and object. The pure consciousness has the freedom to exist without the division of subject and object, or to express as subject and object. This Swatantrata, freedom is its glory. It is the freedom of the waters to express as ocean and wave, totality and individuality. The infinite waters have the freedom to express with waves or without waves. That is its freedom, because water by nature is free. Apply it on yourself. The self has the freedom to appear, manifest as the teacher and the student. That one alone is expressing. We saw that in Dakshinamurti. Dakshinamurti is one. He is alone expressing as the teacher and the student, and the teaching is going on. And what is the teaching going on? Teaching is going on about that which cannot be taught. है ना सारा drama. See? Teaching is going on about that which is beyond words, which is beyond comprehension, which is beyond understanding. This is the big joke. And yet this joke must continue. This joke, in our scriptural language, it is called as Leela, the game, the sport of the one. And that sport, that when one divides himself into two, the game continues, the game begins. And because that game is continuing, there is no reduction in the self. And when that game concludes, there is no addition to that self. So if you look at it totally, the game of waking, dream and deep sleep, manifestation and unmanifestation is going on without addition or subtraction in the self. It's only happening on the surface. Just like the manifestation and unmanifestation of the waves, it's only happening on the surface of the waters. Waters are infinite. Whether the manifestation happens or does not happen, it does not affect the waters. Creation, maintenance, destruction is of the wave. Water doesn't get created, water doesn't get maintained, water does not get destroyed. Water continues to be. So water is pervading the creation also. Water is there when the maintenance is also there, and water is there when the destruction is also there. So water was the constant. Catch this about yourself. Self is before the creation of the thought. Self is during the thought. Self is at the conclusion of the thought. Is this not your direct experience? मजा आ जाएगा. To catch this, you are told, reduce your thoughts, so that you can catch this, that you are the continuous one. We are not told to reduce the thoughts, frequency of thoughts, because we hate thoughts. No. When there are too many thoughts, you will not catch yourself. You reduce thoughts so that you can catch the continuity as the self which was before, during and after. And once it's clicked, then whether many thoughts come or no thoughts come, it does not matter. देखो एकदम आनंद ही आनंद है. The Shuddha Tattva, so one thing we have to remember here is the self is the independent principle, and its independence or its freedom allows it to manifest or not manifest without being influenced by the manifestation or unmanifestation. That's you. Self has the freedom to manifest as thoughts or no thoughts. With reference to thought, that self is called as mind, nothing else. That's all there is to it. There is nothing called a separate object called mind. There is nothing called there is no separate object called space which is inside this room. Space is infinite by nature. You can call it whatever you want. But that does not stop the space from being space. You may call the self as mother, father, daughter, sister, man, woman, individual, total. But the self remains self. You may call the water as ice or ice cube or glacier or wave or ocean or tsunami, but water remains as water. The Shuddha Chaitanya or Sad Vastu, when referred with reference to its potentiality, is Chit. So that one self, that self, Sad Vastu, that continuous existence, when it is with reference to its potentiality, with reference to its potentiality to manifest or not manifest. That is the potentiality. It is called as consciousness. Why would you call that one reality as Satchidananda? We already saw that chapter, that these words don't stick to reality. But our scriptures use these words, Sat Chit Anand, existence, consciousness, bliss, as if these are the qualities of that reality. But we have seen that these words are used to cancel that which is non-existing. Existence is used to cancel non-existence. Consciousness is used to cancel that which is not conscious. And bliss is used to cancel the misery. So reality is that which is ever existence, ever conscious, meaning all knowing, and because it is ever existing and knowing that it is ever existent without a thought, therefore blissful. If knowing that you are that free self is giving you so much joy, right now listening is giving you joy, thinking of these thoughts is giving you joy, imagine how much bliss will it be when you know that you are the only one ever existing and knowing that without a thought. Thoughts are coming and going. So our game is, if I can say that, if the thought is there, I am still there. If there is no thought, I continue to be. Again there is a thought, I am still there. When that thought goes away, I continue to be. So rather than becoming subservient to the thought to pull you this way, that way, into this emotion, that emotion, into this conviction, that conviction, you be the witnessing consciousness. So with reference to the thoughts, to the manifestation, that constant existence is called as consciousness. Conscious why? Because it's conscious of something. Existence is normal. Existence is continuous anyway. We have seen that whether waking, dream, deep sleep come and go, you are continuous. Whether the waves come and go, water is existing. It does not become less or more. Now we are coming to, with reference to waves, this self which is the constant existence, which is the substratum, which is the common denominator, which is the essence, which does not become more or less, which is the constant, which is the unchanging. With reference to the changing subject object, it is called as consciousness. And I'll add one more word to it. It's called as witnessing consciousness, because in the presence of the witness, the subject, the waker, and the object, the waking world. The subject, the dreamer, the object, the dream world. And if you take the total three states, the manifestation called the waking and dream, and unmanifestation called the deep sleep, they're happening in someone's presence. That is the witnessing consciousness. It knows that these three come and go. In its presence, these three come and go. Why do we say that the witnessing consciousness knows? Because you are that. You only are saying that these three come and go. Someone else cannot come and tell about your waking, dream, and deep sleep. It is your experience. It is in your consciousness. You are that consciousness, not your consciousness. You are that consciousness in whose presence, just like you are the mother, you are the woman who knows that the wife is coming and going, then the mother comes and manifests and goes away, then the daughter comes and goes away. That's a different matter, that the woman forgets herself and gets caught up in the role. But as a woman, without the woman, the mother, daughter, sister, they cannot manifest. The woman alone is manifesting. If you can catch this game that you are the constant woman and all the roles that you are playing are your manifestations alone, exactly the same way, you are the constant. The manifestation of the thoughts or unmanifestation of the thoughts is the game that is going on. With reference to the eyes, that the seer comes about. With reference to the ears, the hearer comes about. So I is the constant, but with reference to various faculties, that I takes the role of a seer, I takes the role of a thinker, I takes the role of a hearer, I takes the role of the taster, etc., etc. That same I, when it goes out, it takes the role. With reference to the wife, it takes the role of a husband. With reference to the children, it takes the role of a father. So recognize this, that you are the unchanging principle. And everything that is changing is only the manifestation that is happening out of the consciousness alone, not out of ignorance.
Swamiji, can I ask you a question, Swamiji?
If it is relevant, I will answer, otherwise I will not answer. Ask.
I think it is relevant, Swamiji, for myself.
Let me decide that.
This is when we are saying, I am the consciousness, you are the consciousness, that what we are sort of learning and practicing. In reality, when we say that means
first thing is, your statement is wrong.
Okay.
I am the consciousness, I am practicing. You cannot practice it. We are saying you are that.
Swamiji. Yeah, that was wrong. Yeah, I am the consciousness. So in reality, witnessing means that is again two, isn't it, Swamiji?
Consciousness is the reality, not in reality.
So how can you witness? When you say witness, that means there are two, isn't it? Like one is a witnessing and the other one is witnessed.
Get out of the intellect and analyze your experience. Are you not witnessing the waking, dream, and deep sleep coming and going? Are you not witnessing the thoughts coming and going?
Because I'm not realized, so that's why I'm not witnessing. I am witnessing.
We are not saying
if I'm
that.
Realized,
Wait.
If I'm realized, probably that I won't say that I'm witnessing all these three.
Yes, you will not say that.
So that means the witnessing the word will not mean much for a realized Swami.
Who are you to tell that? Or who am I to tell that?
I'm asking you, Swami, that I'm trying to understand this part.
Yes, but this is not something to understand. It is to be accepted that you are that. And when you are there, all these questions will go away. So scriptures don't tell how a realized person must talk or not talk. This is you read Vivek Chudamani, or even you take the Sthita Prajna Lakshan of in chapter 2.
Yeah.
The scriptures do not take the liberty to tell what a realized master should do or not do.
I appreciate that, Swamiji, but this is about the Jnaneshwari's experience, and he's trying to explain to us, isn't it? Somehow that he's trying to explain to us, which is not explainable. So that's what my thoughts were like. Just thought about what this is witnessing
we'll
means.
Talk about it later, because it's going in different direction. Let me be in the flow of the thoughts as the thing is going on, because what you are asking is, you want to work it out. It cannot be worked out. While listening, be what Jnaneshwar Maharaj is asking us to be. That you are the consciousness. These questions come because we are thinking. While thinking, we have to be the consciousness that we are. Watch the subject and object dichotomy that is appearing. Again, I am repeating it. Waker and waking world, dreamer and dream world, etc. is the manifestation of the self, not of ignorance. In and through all this waker, behind the waker is the self, behind the waking world is the self. Behind the dreamer is the self, behind the dream world is the self. Behind the micro is the self, behind the macro is the self. Individuality cannot exist without the self, totality cannot exist without the self. Totality knows that it is the self, individuality doesn't know it is the self as the seeker. So
the totality will not be individuality. Totality is totality, isn't it, Swamiji?
That you work it out. This question we have addressed many times. I don't think I will go back answering that.
Thank you. Yep, I got it. Yep.
Where are we? The Shuddha Tattva means the ever pure essence, or Sad Vastu, that which is ever existing, when referred with reference to its potentiality. Now, what is the potentiality? Potentiality is the manifestation, or the unmanifestation is the potentiality. Only with reference to potentiality we are saying the word Sadvastu. That why should a constant principle say I am constant? Why should a woman say that I am a woman? Only because with reference to man she says I am a woman, isn't it? If there were no men, only woman was there, or if there were no woman, only men were there, will a man call himself man? Or woman call itself woman? There's no need. Only when there is a reference, some communication, interaction, some words will come out. So here he is saying that same Sadvastu, that same constant truth, that same infinite self, that same Sat, with reference to something, potentiality, is called as Chit. See? Chit is knowledge. See? So knowledge is also of two types. Knowledge is at the level of intellect, correct? And that intellect, the knowledge that is there, it can keep changing. Knowledge is at the level of senses and mind. Sometimes we see, sometimes we don't see. Sometimes we hear, sometimes we don't hear. Sometimes we understand, we don't understand. This is all knowledge according to us, isn't it? Right now what you are hearing is also knowledge for all. But there is one more knowledge which is unaffected by coming and going of all the data. Which is that knowledge? Tell me. Tell.
It's the self.
Huh?
It's the self.
No, one step, I want a different word for it. It's the witnessing consciousness. Chit, the witnessing conscious. You as witness are not affected by that which is coming and going. As an individual, you are affected by what is coming and going. But as a witnessing consciousness, the sakshi, that is also the word, we are using the word chit here. So consciousness. Consciousness means knowledge. Which is that knowledge which is not affected by data? And what is that knowledge which is affected by data? Now you know. As an individual, you are affected by all the thoughts. The waker is affected by all the thoughts of the waking. Dreamer is affected by all the thoughts of the dream. But the witnessing consciousness, it is unaffected by the thoughts of the waking or the dream or their absence. That is also knowledge. That is also knowledge. So can we come to a point where we are so if this witnessing consciousness is the constant, as long as this body is there, for reality and all, that is fine. It will only manifest as witnessing consciousness as long as the body is there. The merging will not take place. Very few rare ones are there in which the merging happens. Otherwise, with the last breath, with the last thought, the merging will happen. When the body unmanifests, then the merging will happen, provided we are come to this point. Jnaneshwar Maharaj is merged in spite of the body. We are, even though the body is there, we are not able to even understand that we are the witness, because we keep playing the role of the waker and taking it more important than being the witnessing consciousness. Correct or not? We have invested only in the waking. And in the waking, we have invested only in the waking body. And with reference to that waking body, I am the waker. And that waker, sometimes we even forget that waker and we take the role of the husband or the wife or the student or the teacher or the confused one or the clear one. Take the position of witnessing consciousness, because not only that witnessing consciousness, that chit with reference to the dual subject and object. Subject and object are expressing as waking world, dreamer, dream world, so on. Subject and object are appearing in every thought also. Without the subject I and without the object of whatever, you cannot get seer and seen, hearer and heard, thinker and thought, knower and known, experiencer and experienced, taster and tasted. This is all dual, isn't it? Subject and object. Who is knowing that the one moment I was the seer, next moment I am the hearer? In whose presence? I know that is how I am able to recollect my memory. That is also happening in the presence of witnessing consciousness. Not in front of individual, because individual is lost under the influence of thoughts. But someone is there. Just as that person knows waking, dream and deep sleep are coming and going, that person also knows that there are memories. He doesn't get interfered, he doesn't get influenced by it. See? So that witnessing consciousness, in whose presence these three states in which the subject object are manifest or unmanifest, they are coming and going. that witnessing consciousness is available right now also. Don't keep it as a concept. Now come to this present moment. That witnessing consciousness which you just worked out must be present in and through all the states. In its presence, the three states are coming and going. It must be present right now also. So am I being the witnessing consciousness right now, who is unaffected by the play of subject and object that is continuously going on through the mind? That is the potentiality expressing as subject and object? Or am I choosing to be affected by the objectivity? If I remain witness, there can be only one I. You cannot have subject and object. I am the witnessing consciousness, and then there is this I coming and going. Again, there is another I. That is the thought I. But what does that thought I represent? Me. So am I thinking that I am the thought I, or am I the witness I? So when I say I am seeing you, now I am seeing Bhavesh, now I am seeing Nagaraj. So as I made these three statements, did I lose myself when I said I know Usha? Then again I caught myself and I said I know Bhavesh, I see Bhavesh. Then again I lost myself in Bhavesh, again I caught back myself and I say, so while I was making these three I thoughts with reference to Usha, Bhavesh and Nagaraj came out, expressed themselves, did I lose myself? Or in my presence these three thoughts of subject and object, I and Usha the object, I and Bhavesh the object, I and Nagaraj the object, these three happened. So that means I am the untouched one. I am the witness. Accept yourself as that. That reality with reference to these two, subject, object, it's going on all the time. I'm seeing, I'm hearing, I'm touching, I'm tasting, I'm feeling, I'm thinking, I'm understanding, I'm not understanding, I'm waking, I'm dreaming, I'm sleeping. The witness consciousness ever remains unchanged. So either you can succumb to the object and take a role, or remain the consciousness or the witnessing consciousness. This is just a term because with reference to the objects which are coming and going, and we are not, this consciousness that I am, if it is not disturbed by the stimuli of thoughts, then I call it as witnessing consciousness. If I succumb to the thoughts, the objective thoughts, I become seer, hearer, toucher, feeler, taster, thinker, waker, dreamer, etc., etc. I take the role. But if I don't become enslaved or entangled or give value or importance to those thoughts, I remain as witnessing consciousness. If you remain as witnessing consciousness, the data of objectivity, the data of subject, object, whatever, the infinite number of thoughts that you have collected from lifetimes or this lifetime, they will start reducing. Because they get the impetus only when we give them value and importance, when we associate with them. As an witnessing consciousness, you are not associated, you are just being like the mirror, allowing everything to come and go, not affected. You are not taking an identity with reference to the objectivity. Woman takes an identity called wife with reference to objectivity called the husband. The pure consciousness, when it associates with seeing, it takes the role of seer. It has fallen. It has fallen. This is the fall. Association. acceptance that I am the I. The moment you say I am the I, individuality. As a witnessing consciousness, as a sakshi, seeing will go on, but no seer is born. Hearing will go on, but no hearer is born. Thinking will go on, but no thinker is born. Waking, dream and deep sleep is going on, but no waker, dreamer and sleeper is born. This is how, as our Renuka was asking, this is how the Mahatmas live. This is the maximum we are talking about it. And as long as we keep talking, some doubt will come. Some doubt will come. Some angle approach we cannot, in language we cannot cover all the approaches. Ever new shades will keep presenting themselves. But once we have come to be the witness in consciousness, and it is our direct experience, then there is no question after that. Then there is no doubt after that. So all this discussion started that same continuous existence is called consciousness with reference to objectivity. And what is that objectivity? Or another word, with reference to potentiality. Potentially, what is that potentiality in our mind? In us, it is called the mind. The self is the continuous existence. It is called as consciousness when we talk of the mind, because mind is our potentiality. You don't talk, what do you say when a person dies? He is not conscious. When the mind is not functioning, what do we say? He is unconscious or he is in coma. Why? Consciousness is not expressing. So life is not expressing as consciousness if the mind is not able to respond to, we do this, we speak in the ear of the person who is in coma. Because there is no response, there is no life expressing as we know it. Who responds? It's not the consciousness response, it's the mind which is responding. So with reference to mind, that infinite reality is called as consciousness. And this and the potentiality itself is ananda or ananta. The potentiality has several factors. Of these three are immediately relevant when Sadvastu is associated with Ichha Shakti. So now Sadvastu, that infinite reality, that constant substratum, that constant self which is existing in spite of everything, it is the only thing. When it associates itself with Ichha Shakti, then he becomes the desirer. When he associates himself with Gyana Shakti, he becomes the knower. Ichha Shakti, Shakti means power, Ichha means the power of desire. Gyana Shakti means the power of knowledge. And the other is the Kriya Shakti, the power of movement. Then he becomes the doer. Just like the woman associates with the husband, she becomes the wife. Woman associates with the children, she becomes the mother. Woman associates with the parents, she becomes the daughter. But woman remains the woman only. All the issues, all the challenges, all the responsibilities are for the wife, the mother and the daughter. Woman is independent. So Sadvastu is independent. When it becomes associated with the desire, then all the problems begin. When it gets associated with objective knowledge, problems begin. I am knowledgeable, I am knowledgeable, I am ignorant, I am not ignorant. When it gets associated with activity, then again problems begin for this constant I. Can this happen? No. Is this association real? No. But it appears right now in us, it appears. In that example of water and wave and ocean, it's very easy because it's inert, but we are conscious. It's not as simple because I'm seeing that this is a mixture of consciousness and matter together. And I also understand consciousness and matter can never come together because both are totally different qualities. One is inert, one is life. How can oil and water come together? How can spirit and matter come together? They cannot. How can space become blue? It cannot. But yet it's seen. How can sun rise? It cannot. But yet it rises. How can spirit and matter come together? It cannot. But yet it is. The Jiva's experience is that. So we are trying to change his orientation towards himself. It's not enough to only separate the consciousness from the matter. Then you will go into samadhi. We are here in this Amrutanubhav, we are converting your experience to this point where consciousness is pervading everything. There is nothing but the consciousness. So you cannot say the thoughts are outside the consciousness, the body is outside the consciousness, or the past and future are outside the consciousness, or totality and individuality is outside the consciousness. You cannot look at consciousness in contrast to all these. No, everything is consciousness. This is the approach of the Upanishads as well as Jnaneshwar Maharaj. So that we become totally drenched in consciousness. So wherever we look, this I which was thinking it is individual now has come to realize it is of the nature of continuity. It has never become less or more. It has never come and gone. It has never become the waker, dreamer, sleeper, and yet it is expressing through them. It is not able, at this moment, questions will come if you are not able to grasp the immensity of this statement. Questions will come if we are only trying to intellectually work it out. But if we take these statements and these words of the Swamiji are triggering us to go beyond the words at this moment and be the witnessing consciousness. And as we be that again and again and again through every word is an opportunity for us to be the witnessing. Then you will also write one book like this. With your own flair. Because so many Upanishads are there, they are telling the same thing but in so many different ways. So many great masters are there, they are talking of the same thing in so many different ways. So why not one more? That is you. But that is only possible when you come to be that witnessing consciousness in spite of everything else. And when will that witnessing consciousness merge into its source? That is grace. First come to witnessing consciousness. That is the bare minimum.
Swami,
Ah,
do we practice that by meditation?
we practice that by contemplation. This is contemplation going on.
Okay.
So while we are contemplating, if our mind has become calm and quiet, if the feeling of contentment is there, that yes, this is what I wanted to hear, this is who I am, this is what is bringing me back to who I really am. Nobody tells me how great I am, at least here I come to hear. Yeah?
Yep.
Not that you are addicted to hearing, but here the words are triggers to push you back, to make you fall back into yourself. So don't focus too much on the words. Instead, what the words or the sentences are indicating, which is you, the self, the consciousness, be that again and again, again and again.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. And we must not forcefully meditate. When such contemplations are there, I'm sure some of you are in meditation even if your eyes are open. Because in the mind there are no unwanted thoughts coming and going. It's content. It's at peace. This is meditation. It doesn't mean that only by closing eyes we do meditation. No. Sometimes we look at a beautiful rainbow and we are in meditation. Sometimes we see the peak of the mountain and we are in meditation. Our eyes are open. Sometimes we see the expanse of the blueness of the sky or the ocean and we go into that meditation. So meditation is not only when we close our eyes. It is you connecting with yourself as you are. That is called meditation. So for that, whether the senses are open or closed, it does not matter. That is ultimate. But if open senses are disturbing you, please close them. Okay?
Yep. Thank you.
So, what is this? When this Sadvastu, that continuous existence, essence, is associated with Ichha Shakti, the power of desire, it is called as Shiva Tattva. So when it is connected, when it associates that infinite reality, we are not talking consciousness, when that infinite reality, that constant existence, when it is associated with the power of desire, that desire has not manifested yet, but it has become aware that, hey, I have a desire. It is called as Shiva. Then when it is that same constant existence, when it is associated with jnana, knowledge, it is called as Ishvara. And when it is associated with Kriya Shakti, it is called as the Sadvidya, knowledge of the existence. However, the Shivatva and the Ishwaratva and the Sadvidyatva do not create any bondage on the Sadvastu. So, if you look at it from totality point of view and as it is given in our scriptures, when that one reality as if appears as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, as if appears as the creator, maintainer and destroyer at the totality level, or within us, if we can catch the principle, it does not affect the reality. The coming and going of the day and nights does not affect the sun. Similarly, the creation, maintenance and destruction does not affect the truth, the absolute I. The coming and going of the waves does not affect the water. So same way here, the Shivatva with respect to desires, the Ishwaratva with reference to knowledge, and Sadvidyatva with reference to Kriya, the activity. All this desire, knowledge and activity, where are they taking place? I'm asking. Where are they taking place?
In the mind.
In the mind, correct, good. So desire is taking place in the mind, the knowledge is taking place in the mind, and the sadvidya, the activity is taking place in the mind. Thoughts are of the nature of knowledge, thoughts are of the nature of desire, first one, and the last, thoughts are moving, so there is activity going on, movement of the thoughts is going on. Because thoughts are coming and going, don't feel that you are coming and going. This is where we make the mistake. We have to be the witnessing conscious, stand apart and see that all these are nothing but my manifestations. Don't allow the personality to precipitate. Who is Shiva, who is Ishvara and who is Sadvidya? They are undisturbed principles. They are continuing to do their job, but they know who they are. If we can come to know who we are by not getting disturbed by the desire, by the knowledge, by the activity, then we are where the gods are. Then, in other words, gods meaning we are the witnessing consciousness. Always live life at these principles. Always live life at these principles. When you come...
Will that be consciousness rather than witnessing consciousness, Swamiji, at that time?
Say that again.
We said it's about when we don't have all these things like gods. When we like gods, that you said, that time we won't be witnessing consciousness. We will be consciousness. Wouldn't that be?
Then we and God are one. Witnessing consciousness and God is one.
Witnessing consciousness or consciousness, are they same?
Yes.
Because when we say witnessing, that means again...
Witnessing consciousness is that consciousness which is undisturbed by what is coming and going. If you're conscious of something, then there is a problem. Anytime you can be sucked into what you're observing. When witnessing consciousness is, you're taking the position of a Sakshi. Sakshi is the witnessing consciousness. See, this is the shortcoming of the language. When you come to being the witnessing consciousness and are coming to a point where you are undisturbed by any stimuli, at that very moment you will fall back into your essential nature. There is no lag there. You think witnessing consciousness is a state where I will be continuously watching and not being disturbed by the world. The world will catch you. Somewhere you will become the seer, hearer, toucher if you are not established in the self. So first, when we, with this exercise or with this understanding, be the witnessing consciousness, that witnessing consciousness immediately at that very moment when it is absolutely undisturbed by any objectivity, meaning undisturbed by desire, knowledge or activity, at that very moment it will fall back into its real nature, meaning it is absorbed in its own source.
That's consciousness at that time.
No, then that is sadvastu.
Yep.
That is sadvastu, that is, in Shankaracharya's word, it is existence, consciousness and bliss.
Yep.
without any thought.
Yep. Thanks, Swami.
So, however, Shivatva, Ishwaratva and Sadvidyatva do not create any bondage on the Sadvastu, just as fire does not create bondage of heat on fire, or the sugar does not create bondage of sweetness on sugar. The pure self is not conditioned by the relationship of the seer and seen. See? So, when we are talking about seer and seen, either you call the foundation as the witnessing consciousness, or you call it as the absolute. But when we call as absolute, from absolute point, only absolute is, then only absolute is. then there's no language also required. From witnessing consciousness point of view, see, don't start thinking that all this is happening. All this is phenomena. When we are talking about witnessing consciousness, when we are talking about the subject and object, when we are talking about desire, knowledge and activity, all this is phenomena. But what is that phenomena? Which is pervaded by the reality, which is nothing but the reality. Where are we caught? Our attention is not on the reality, our attention is on the coming and going of the phenomena. This is what we have to withdraw from. Instead of being buffeted by the coming and going of the thoughts, we have to be the constant one in spite of the thoughts. If we are the constant one, the interim step is witnessing. You are the witness. Because you have not given up all the thoughts, you are still seeing the thoughts. But there are moments where between thoughts there is absence. I continue to be in that also. Then suddenly my attention before was I am witnessing the thoughts. Now it is I am in spite of the thoughts. Then next understanding will be I am the constant one. This is in waking, when you think what happened before just now in the seat of meditation. That the presence of the thoughts and absence of the thoughts, both were observed by me. I was witnessing both of them without getting disturbed by them. This is a third level of understanding. When you become totally unclutched from presence and absence, that is the potentiality. That presence and absence is again described as Shivatva, Ishwaratva, Sadvaiditya, meaning that desire, knowledge and activity, nothing is disturbing you, nothing is making you to be associated with the desire or the knowledge or the activity. You will fall back into yourself. Why should I keep looking when I am not disturbed? Automatically the eyes close, automatically the mind enfolds into its own source. Meaning desires go back to their source, knowledge goes back to its source, and activity goes back to its source. Why? There is no owner. Only if the owner is there, they will get the momentum. The knowledge will continue to be, the desires will continue to flourish, and activity will continue to breed more activity. But if there is no owner, everything will collapse into itself. There you are. There you are. Let's conclude this. The pure self is not conditioned by the relationship of the seer-seen. That is the only way to explain the truth. It is not conditioned. They may express, they may not express. The truth is not influenced by it. And when we are talking in this language, that truth is you. You are not influenced by seer and seen, hearer and heard, waker and waking world, dreamer and dream worlds, experiencer and experienced, knower and known. You are not influenced. Take that position, have that disposition. We'll continue from here in our next class. So थोड़ा सा ही रह गया, just 2 lines and I'll conclude this verse then. Anyadev tad viditad atha aviditad adhi. This comes from the Kena Upanishad. We have done that this truth is other than the knower and the unknown. Viditad, known. Aviditad, unknown. Known, waking and dream. Unknown, deep sleep, samadhi. It is other than the two. By contemplating on this statement alone, one can slowly transcend the relative existence of knower known, because the truth is other than the known and the unknown. as long as we are giving voice to knower and known, we are the knower. If in spite of the knower and known, subject and object, only silence is pervading, then we are the witnessing consciousness. When it has come to that peak where not even a little bit, sometimes even as witnessing, we can keep slipping back into being the knower or the experience or whatever. When we are completely matured, where we are, this is just language, where we are totally undisturbed by the opposites, by the knower and known, by the subject and object, by the manifestation and unmanifestation, by the desire, knowledge and activity, the whole matrix collapses. If I can use that word. The whole matrix collapses. Only the truth remains. Matrix was a phenomena. Matrix was a play of consciousness. What is a wave? Play of water with each other, and appearance called wave comes about. What is mind? Mind is a play of consciousness with its, well, I should say, play of existence with each other, and something called mind comes about. It's a matrix. But that matrix is pervaded by the reality that you are. That mind is nothing but, in essence, the truth that you are. And what is that truth? Which is beyond the known and the unknown. So on one hand we are saying it is everything, and then we are saying it is transcendental to the known and unknown. This is the language that is used. You have to sort yourself out by being subjective. The idea is your mind is not allowed to form any sort of conviction, because conviction will seek a result. You have to come to know, I know, but I don't know. Kenopanishad.
So, Swami, is it safe to say that, like, you can only free your mind in the unknown? Is that what you're saying?
No. Because where is this knowledge happening? In the unknown or in the known?
In the known?
In the known.
Okay.
So you have to go beyond the known and the unknown. And you are that right now also. But because of our obsession with the known, we pursue it in the known. But our total experience of one day is known plus unknown is equal to our one day. Known is the waking and dream, and unknown is the deep sleep and samadhi.
Okay.
We are the witnessing. We are the undisturbed consciousness in spite of the known coming and going, and in spite of unknown presenting itself or not presenting itself. So are you present when you see this finger? Yes.
Yes.
Are you present when you don't see the finger?
Yes.
Between the two, this is one thought, this is another thought. Two thoughts are known. This is finger number 1, this is finger number 2. So you got two objects. But between the two objects, are you there or not?
Yes.
So I am present. I am illuminating the presence of finger number 1. I am illuminating the presence of finger number 2. And I am also influencing the unknown, the absence between the two fingers, isn't it?
Yeah.
So these two are the known, and in between is the unknown. Correct?
Yep.
So I am other than the known and the unknown. Am I the finger? No. Am I the finger number 2? No. Am I the absence? No. Then who am I? I am the one in whose presence the finger number 1 and finger number 2 and the absence of the 2 presented itself. Correct?
Yep.
So I am other than the known and the unknown.
Okay.
Now, this is the example here. You do it with your thoughts.
Yeah.
Or you do it with your waking and dream and the deep sleep. Deep sleep is the unknown, waking and dream is the known.
I understand. Yep.
So, got it?
Yep.
Okay, we'll conclude here. Thank you guys for being patient. Taken extra time. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Sit quietly for a moment.